So we've had some images that have been floating around on the Chinese message board Weibo for the past couple of days, and they finally started to surface on the western side of the fandom. And we finally got our first look now of Transformers Legacy United Wave 3 Deluxe Class Cybetron Universe Hotshot. We had listings of these that we've been talking about for a while, and finally we get our first look at how this guy is. And then when you first take a look at it from all of these images that have been posted all over the place, you know, you take a look at it and you think, oh, am I looking at the original Galaxy Force Cybertron toy that came out back in 2004, 2005? But Takara and the Hasbro team put together something that takes that original character model, kind of tweaks it a little bit with a different kind of tooling and the details along with it, and gives us a modern interpretation with modern articulation. So we're going to break this down like we always do here on the Transformers Slag podcast, and we're going to start with that car mode, that alt mode that he comes in, and it's a nice take on the original. It really tries to kind of also do its own thing and simplifies the design from the original, almost kind of stylizes it a little bit, especially when you look at the engine sculpt. When compared to the original toy or the animation model, you see how the original figure tried to be more like the animation model. There was more of a synergy there, where this one kind of is its own thing and its own tooling. It still has that 5mm peg on the roof that could mount the weapon, so that's a nice touch that throws back to the original toy and keeps that play pattern. It has a planet key port as well as a clear red planet key. Of course, that planet key does not activate any kind of spring-loaded gimmick or anything like all the other United figures. It's just there more as a throwback and homage to what the original toys used to do. But it does have those spring-loaded spoilers. They aren't spring-loaded, though. They're just flip out. The original, when you put the planet key in, they spring-load out. Now you just flip out the spoiler. Those spoiler pieces, oddly enough, are red, and that's an interesting color choice. I don't know why they went with red instead of its original clear yellow. It's very obvious that we do have clear translucent yellow on the figure because of the, you know, the cockpit windshield and everything. But they went with red plastic instead, which clearly would be gang molded with the red of the legs that are used on the figure here. And the only explanation I could really come up with of why they did this is the possibility of maybe future repaints. Like if you look at, let's say, the red Excellion repaint that you might get in the future, that would mean that if the legs would be orange, then the spoiler would be orange on that one instead of the traditionally blue that it was originally molded from in clear. So maybe we would do that because you want to get a more hot rod, orangey spoiler kind of look, I guess. I don't know. Hot Rod has had orangey kind of spoilers in the past, so I guess they kind of want to lean more into that by making that. That's just my, 3D chess kind of answer to why they went with a red spoiler here instead of the traditionally yellow one all these years. And then, of course, if you look at, let's say, if they do a Goldbug repaint, it's kind of the same thing. Goldbug had yellow legs, so that means it'll probably have a yellow spoiler instead of the blue one that they had. So maybe they're kind of doing something like that, and that's their long form kind of planning for it. But otherwise, I like it. I think it looks great. Nice alt mode. Really does a job of conveying the original with doing some different tweaks to still make it different. Before we get into the robot mode, let's talk about the included accessories that we just talked about quickly. It comes with his trademark gun, which has a male peg on it of a 3mm peg, which you could attach one of those blast effects on. So that's pretty cool that they added that, because obviously it's not going to have a spring-loaded missile like the original. The planet key is clear red, and since this whole figure on its mold and tooling doesn't have any clear plastic on it, this leads to my theory that much like the original Galaxy Force Cybertron toys, these planet keys are actually made on the side from a different mold and tooling altogether. So until I'm probably going to ask one of the staffers and designers at Hasbro to confirm that, but that's what's probably going on here, because that's how it was with the originals back in 2005 and 2006. So we will see, but that is an interesting thing. But so again, we get yet again another planet key. Very nice touch that they did that, combined with the fact we have its iconic gun. So pretty cool. let's get to that robot mode. So when you look at that robot mode, it's a great looking figure, but if you squint, it almost looks exactly like the original figure. I mean, if you looked very quickly at it, you wouldn't even know the difference. But there is slight differences there, which makes it more like the animation model, but also kind of less in other areas. Some details on the original match the animation model, like that yellow spoiler, the red backpack, the original big Autobot logo on the shoulder, the crotch coloring, the yellow translucent on the forearms, the shape of the head sculpt somewhat. The original toy kind of conveyed all of that. Where this new, Legacy United one, much like with the alt mode, while it has better coloring in, let's say, the shoulder region that matches the animation model, some of those fine details and sculpt. The front legs definitely are more accurate to the animation model and how it was painted and sculpted there. But it kind of ends there. The trade-offs with the figure are really just way more articulation and posability from the original, be it in the crotch area, the legs, the shoulders, the bicep. There's a twist there that the original toy couldn't do. So it's way more articulated. Also, the photographer for this showed a comparison next to a Studio Series 86 Hot Rod figure to show scale. So I busted out my Studio Series 86 Hot Rod along with the original 2004-2005 Galaxy Force Cybetron toy to compare the two. And it looks like the Deluxe more or less is the same size as the original toy, which is a really nice touch. They didn't shrink our Deluxe Hotshot 20 years later almost, so that's pretty cool. That's not just a tiny Deluxe. It's more or less the same as the original, so that's nice stuff in terms of our bang for our buck. So we're slowly building out this Galaxy Force Cybetron collection with all the stuff we've gotten in the past, and we're probably going to be getting more and more from listings that we've seen today and marching forward, but we'll get into that in a future segment. And, we're going to finally get that modern toy epic battle between Excellion and Nitro Convoy and recreate that with our Hotshot and Speedia 500 override, I guess. So it's starting to look pretty good what we're seeing here. Now, the question is, what will be the repaints from this afterwards? Will we get that Excellion Hot Rod colored repaint? Will we get the movie breakdown repaint? It's kind of a shame that we got that lackluster Shattered Glass Goldbug recently. I mean, the mold that we have here would have perfectly been a great update to the original and revisiting that character from Bakan all those years ago and making it affordable for people. But who knows? Maybe in a couple years they'll revisit it and do it right for the fans. You never know. So this will be part of Wave 3 of Legacy United. Like I mentioned before, BMAC has talked about this briefly at WonderCon in Anaheim just a few weeks ago, so we might get pre-orders or official releases of these, maybe even tomorrow during the Hasbro Pulse fan stream, or maybe next Tuesday will be some kind of pre-order drop. So just a reminder, what is in that Wave 3 that it does exist with that Deluxe Cybetron Hotshot. According to BMAC, again, we have some kind of Rock 3 that's going to be part of it, a core class. So we don't have a name for that one yet, but another core class Rock something from the Infernac universe. Of course, we have that Deluxe class Robots in Disguise Sideburn that we've already seen. We got a Deluxe class Strong Arm package refresh that's going to be happening. We have, of course, the Cybetron Hotshot that we talked about today. And then also what BMAC mentioned, a Rock 3 Deluxe, which is called Nucleus or Nucleus. We don't know yet. Nucleus, I think, is what it was on the WonderCon panel. So some kind of Rock 3, also Deluxe class, a brand new one will be added to the mix. Of course, we have in the Voyager scale, we have the Cybetron Vector Prime, which we have not seen yet, so we're eagerly awaiting that one. And of course, the Leader class will be an Armada Galvatron repaint, which we already saw teasers from the Tidal Wave box art and stuff, so we have a pretty good idea of how he's going to look. Does he come with a Minicon? We don't know. We will see. And all of those are planned for July 2024 for release. So pre-orders will probably be dropping very, very, very soon. And speaking of pre-orders, we also have another pre-order teaser that will be happening. And we don't know the origin of it yet, but next Tuesday, also on Transformer Tuesday, we have a pre-order teaser here of potentially something big. It reads here, if everything is optimal, you'll get a reminder as soon as this launches, so you can add this masterpiece to your collection. So, Optimus Masterpiece? Maybe we're reading too much into this and the post is just, MP60 Jinrai and the MPG release and it's not Beast Wars related. I don't know, but this is planned for April 30th. Again, Transformer Tuesday next week at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we'll see next week, and we'll get an update on that. I want to don't dive too deep into something that we don't have a lot of info on. But that's it, more or less. Any guys, tell me what you think about, our new hotshot here. I think it looks pretty cool, even with all its little quirks and everything. And I'm even more excited about what future this mold will possibly give for us for other releases and everything. So be sure to tune in tomorrow, because we're going to talk about the fan stream and all the updates from that. And you'll get it here on the Transformer Slag podcast. So as always, thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you in the near future.